crazy being here.
Glad you made it, man. Alrighty, dude. We're gonna freeze up. We get there just in the nick of time.
Just,
Jump in. Quick clothes change. You're gonna transform into Kevin Stein. It's gonna be good. You ready?
Yeah. Ready?
Hello and welcome to Talk Heathen! Today's February 9th, 2020, Season 4, Episode 6, and with me today is Kevin Stein.
Hey.
Dude! I'm so happy you're here.
I am absolutely terrified. I almost reflexively went woo with the rest of the audience. Because I'm so used to being an audience member.
Well, so for those of you in the audience who don't know Kevin, who are you?
I'm Kevin Stein. I've been co-hosting the nonprofits for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I remember when you first came here to the ACA.
Yeah.
And just the excitement and everything that you wanted to bring to it. And now you're a sitting board member.
I am, yeah.
Also, just kind of watching what you bring to the nonprofits has been really awesome to watch because you come prepared, you come ready, you put it all in. And I have this philosophy, and that is that if you're sitting on this side of the camera, you owe it to the audience to put the work in, and you freaking do every time. And that's why I asked to have you on, and that's why I'm glad that you're here.
Oh, I appreciate it,
dude. Plus you're just in personal life, Kevin's a dear friend of mine. Yeah. So this is neat. But before we dive into things, I do want to mention a couple things. First off, regularly, just like normal, at 3 o'clock Central, the Atheist Vanguard is going to be premiering a new episode. Also, we are pushing back. We're making more adjustments to the new intro. I saw them. Have you seen them?
I have, yeah.
They're really cool. But that also means that we still have time. So if you haven't gotten your Talk Heathen merch, below the video, you can purchase it. Also, links. Check it out while you can, because as soon as we move to the new intro, we're going to be moving to a new logo, and these will be gone. You will not be able to buy them again. That's it.
I might have to grab one before the day's over. Just kind of grab it off the shelf.
Well,
I can do that, right?
Well, up until now, all the Talk Heathen merch has only been for sale here in the studio. We've never actually sold them online out to the world. So this is it. Oh, dude, you don't have a Talk Heathen shirt?
I've got a bumper sticker on my laptop, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, I'm good.
Well,
with
I've got a mug too.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
you're good. So if you like what we do, we are going to be plugging our top 5 patrons. This show, Talk Heathen, is a show put on by a 501c3 nonprofit, the Atheist Community of Austin, and it is supported entirely by donations. If you want to support us, if you like what we do, if you want to see us being able to empower other content creators to be able to create more shows and put really a lot of, well, actually, you're seeing it. You're seeing the funding going into organizations like, help me here, the Beyond Belief Network.
Oh, Foundation Beyond Belief.
And others. And it's really awesome that we're doing it. How much money have we given them this year so far?
Oh, geez. At least, don't quote me on this. I want to say about $15,000 or $20,000 maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, and that is going toward empowering activist groups around the country. And so if you have a atheist secular humanist group, you want to get involved, you want to get active, you want to be able to volunteer in your community, check out the Beyond Belief Network, because we are helping them do that. And it's really, really exciting to do. So cheers to that. We're going to be thanking our top 5 patrons 2/3 of the way through the episode. If you'd like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/talkheathen-to-me. That's patreon.com/talkheathen-to-me. I have it up on my screen. You can verify.
I see it, yeah.
I hit the refresh button right before I thank those patrons. So if you want to hear your name read live on air today, you can go to patreon.com/talkheathen-to-me. And now that I have shilled enough, Kevin, before we dive in, I ask, how was your week, sir?
It's been a little trying. I took a couple of days off of work to visit my dear sister. She was in the hospital.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
A congenital heart defect. There was some stuff that came up. She's okay now, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, geez.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have sprung that on you.
Sorry to drop that on you.
No worries. That's
I'm
okay.
I'm a bad liar, so.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. I was feeling pretty rough yesterday, pretty sick, and so I didn't do my streaming like regular. And because of that, and also I was feeling pretty ill, I wound up not even doing my regular sit down with an apologist on my other show.
Yeah.
Instead, I did a collage of speeches and things and put that out. So yeah, you know what? It's definitely a pajama day, I think, in Austin, for sure.
I wanted to like do a lot of last minute cramming of information, and I was too out of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I feel unprepared.
Dude, it's a live call-in show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's going to happen. But let's get started. How about we talk to Hermer in New York? Hermer, you're live with Eric and Kevin. How are you doing?
Oh, it's an honor to be in your show. We spoke previously about Lot's wife, and you said I tasted Lot's wife.
And she tasted like salt, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Funny.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was pretty funny.
It was. And for people who didn't watch that episode, Hermer was saying that he knew that the story of Sodom and Gomorrah was true because metaphorically we look back in life, and when we sweat, we taste salt. And that is how he knows that a thing that happened thousands of years ago in a book was true.
Oh, that's damn compelling.
Yeah, Hermer, is that about right?
Yeah. I was
Okay.
trying to say God logical into turning Lot's wife into a pillar of salt. I was saying that God was logical into turning Lot's wife into a pillar of salt.
Have you ever seen a person turned into salt?
No, but I'm just saying, back in the days, anything could have happened.
No, that's not true. Like, okay, let's put it this way, Hermer. So I live in an apartment. I have a balcony, right? I can jump off of that balcony 100, 200, 500, 10,000 times. How many times am I going to do that before I fly?
Once.
Well, no, zero, because I will have never flown, because I live in a world that has, gravity in it, and it has these physical laws that we're just a part of. And so when I hear you say that someone was turned into a thing, I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe if I did that yesterday, maybe if I jumped off my balcony yesterday, is it more likely that I could have flown? Because it was back then. Anything could have happened back then.
I was going to say you would at least fail once.
Today I'll talk about demons. Another subject that I had. I wanted to talk about another subject, demons.
Well, no. Before we dive into that, I wanted to ask you if you understand why I'm putting it this way.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't make sense. I mean, it would be a less probability that someone would turn into a pillar of salt, or no chance.
So actually, get this.
It could have probably happened because it's the Bible and it's with God, so it's a counter with God. So I'm saying anything could have happened.
Well, so can I offer up a competing conjecture here?
Sure.
So when you're judging whether or not something is probable, you're looking at all of the different things that could have caused it, or the likeliness of a thing, and you're weighing that in your mind with how often you see it, how often it happens, right? If somebody says that they saw something, what are the odds that they hallucinated? Well, how often do people hallucinate? All that good stuff. We don't have examples of people being turned into salt. And because of that...
To avenge the citizens of Arrowville.
Oh, you're a Poe.
I'm a superhero.
Huh.
That's
my
sad.
first episode. We got a real nice.
Yeah. That was a bummer. I hung up on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you should. I was going to say, why would it make sense for him to be turned into, or her to be turned into a pillar of salt? We're mostly comprised of water. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Yeah,
if you're just trying to
justify
it somehow, I don't know.
There are things that you can turn a person into, like you can atomize them with a bomb. You can turn them into dust. But as far as changing the chemical structure of someone magically like that, and in depictions that I've seen of Salt's wife, of Lot's wife, there's like this statue, and she's got her her distinct, her eyes and nose and lips and mouth is this perfect figure of salt. Yeah. Anyway. Let's move on. Let's see if we can not get a Poe this time. Arthur in Fort Worth.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you're live with Eric and Kevin. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Kind of bummed about the last dude, to be honest.
Doing well.
I was very preoccupied. I'm a big fan of the show. I love the Book of Eric thing. That is totally something that I have a sense of humor just like that.
Huh. It says you're a religious
I
scholar.
would like to see you walk out and have somebody kiss your feet or something, just to be a real a-hole about it.
I would probably never return. It would freak me out. That would freak me out.
No, but just as a joke, like have somebody, like one of your assistants come out there and kiss your feet or something. And,
for sure.
You say you're not into foot stuff?
You know what? I'm friends with the hosts of Secular Sexuality, and they have taught me that your kink is not my kink, but your kink is okay. Foot stuff is not my kink.
Yeah, fair enough.
Arthur, help me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get us out of this topic. What are we talking about today?
Okay. Here's the thing, dude. I understand why you guys feel the way you do, and frankly, I don't blame you. But the problem is that when I was like about 8 or 9, I saw something. Me and my brother simultaneously saw something, and it would make the universe would make more sense if I was just lying about that, But I really did see it, and there's nothing convenient about me saying that I'm a religious person. I'm not trying to convert you to any religion or plant a seed in your mind or anything like that. I'm only telling you this because it's true and it happened. And if I had a magic wand, it wouldn't be to convince you. It would be to convince like a Dawkins, a Krauss, a Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Someone more
like
reputable than us.
Yeah, well, no, it's not that. It's just that it kills me that they were alive when this happened. And, I tell this story to other people, and you might think I'm describing an asshole wearing a Halloween mask standing outside my window. If I really thought it was something like that, I wouldn't be thinking about it. And I'm about to be 40 years old. This happened when I was like 8 or 9. And
Arthur?
Yes.
So I might blow your mind here. I might not. Let's see. So are you going to describe something that you would say is a supernatural event?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. So the experience that you had, right, what you think you saw, I believe you.
Yeah.
I actually believe you. If you're calling and saying, hey, this is the experience that I had, I'm actually not I don't think you're lying to me. But what I'm going to ask is, why do you think that happened? What are the likely causes, and how did you determine that it was one cause over another? And so I can believe you, but still kind of disagree on maybe what it was that caused that.
Here's the thing, is that the house that it happened at, me and my brother saw the thing at the same time. My cousin Freddie, my cousin Chimo, my cousin Nikki, we've all had experiences at this house. I believe that these events are, like haunted houses or something, are tied to these locations. Now, I don't know, I didn't see a ghost. I saw, I don't even know what the hell it was, dude. It was like this, something out of a horror, like these two humanoid-looking things that frightening looking, something scary looking, but it hissed at us. And when we looked up at the window, they weren't outside the window. It was like if the window itself became a projector, or like if you had filmed it and projected it onto the window. Mm-hmm. It took a half a second to look at it, but once I looked at it, we got up and ran out of there. And if I saw it today, I would scream like a woman and run out of there and run, and run out of, run away again.
Yeah.
It was nothing good. Now, in my heart, I think that maybe it was because I was acting bad at the moment. Me and my brother were ripping up coloring books, and we were drawing like knives and teddy bears' heads and stuff like that. We were being honorary kids, and this thing hissed at us. And then when we looked up, we saw it, and we ran out of there. And the thing is that I believe that it may have been God telling me something, like, hey, this is what happens when you act bad. But I don't really know that for sure. I just think that that's my feeling. But what upsets me is that my cousin had an experience that was not as bad as mine.
Let's talk about yours really quick, Arthur.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to paint a picture for you, and I want you to kind of follow me along for just a minute, okay?
Okay.
So I want you to imagine a group of scientists going to a remote region of the world where it's reported that there are demon possessions, and that there are also exorcisms, and they want to prove it, and so they pack up their cameras and they go down to this remote region of the world. And when they get there, they see someone writhing on the ground and yelling and all of that, and they record it. And then when they leave, one of them says, you know what, actually, did you see him it almost looked like he lifted a bit off the ground, and then on the plane, talking about it. Yeah, you know what, actually, yeah, I did see that, right? He definitely, by the time they get back home, this, person has flown around the room and yelled in 5 different languages. But when they put on the video, none of that stuff happened. And the reason I'm bringing up this example is because I think it's a easy way to show and really kind of understand that our memories are incredibly unreliable. Especially, you're saying something that happened when you were 8? Yeah. And you're 40?
And, I understand that why you would be skeptical, but see, the thing is that my motivation is not to plant a religious seed in you or to convert you.
I don't think you are, Arthur. But I'm wondering,
it upsets me because
go ahead.
It doesn't have to be what I say that it is. It's just the fact that it could even be that. It's not convenient for me. It's not like that makes me feel good. I mean, because I'm not exactly living the Christian lifestyle. So I'm in the same boat you are. The only difference between me and you is that I've never made a claim that I had a relationship with Jesus. If I did, I would ask him how to prove it to you, or I'd ask him all the hard questions like why are kids starving in Africa, and all the things that other people know. But it's like I'm in the same boat as you, even though I am a believer. But I'm a believer really only because of that. That's the reason why that I call in. I understand my memory could be flawed. I understand why you would think that I wasn't sure what I saw.
No,
but the thing is that
I'm not. I don't think you're not sure. I think that you are absolutely sure of your memory. And that's the thing that I think is probably not warranted.
Arthur, so you said you didn't know what it was.
It looked like it was something frightening looking. Like it looked like two. If you was to try to recreate it, you would need Hollywood special effects makeup or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was something along those lines. Like it looked. One of them had a really long, big carnival-looking mustache, and the other one looked. I don't even know what. Like you look at him, no skin on his face, and he was like snarling. Mm. I mean, but they weren't outside the window. They were like almost projected on the window, and there was this weird ambient light behind it. Me and my brother both saw it, and it took us about a second for us to register what it was. But see, I've been in that room a million times before. That location is just down the street from where I live right now. I've sat in that bedroom before and looked out a window, and the scenery is the same. Even if somebody would have put on a mask.
I believe you. I believe you, Arthur. Hang on. You said that you're a believer and that this is kind of the catalyst that got you there. Am I getting that right?
Well, it's the thing that I actually tried calling myself an atheist for a week because really, honestly, religion to me looks like complete made up BS. It's always looked that way to me, and I have a real problem with take my word for it. And the prophecies in the Bible, they don't do nothing for me because, I can't confirm any of that stuff. How come nobody wrote any of this stuff down?
How do you confirm this experience, Arthur?
What do you mean?
Well, if the Bible is bullshit because you can't confirm it, how are you confirming this belief, which is you said kind of the foundation of your theism?
Well, the thing is that it's not. What confirms it to me is that it's not convenient. It's not. It would make more sense if I was just lying about it, because the religious people that I've heard on the show use dishonest tactics to try to prove their side of the story. I don't want to convince you guys to become religious. I want you guys to try to tell the scientists, hey, this guy's telling the truth about this. Whether or not God exists or not, something like that is going on as far as some sort of phenomenon. And see, one thing I wanted to say that is my cousin had an experience, but it wasn't like mine. But his experience was random, like it was real random, and it was more of a traditional.
I want to try and keep this call where we can have a back and forth on it, because that's where most of it is. Actually, there was somebody in the live chat, Ideal Paradox, who brought up exactly what I was thinking. Do you know what pareidolia is?
No.
Do you want?
I think it's basically the propensity in humans to.
Sure. So
I'm
no worries.
Having trouble today.
It's one of those days. No worries.
Out of sorts.
You know how we can see shapes in the clouds and kind of make them out to be things.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually an evolutionary advantage to it. Just imagine, cavemen, or hunter-gatherers on the savannah who are sitting around the campfire, and one looks up and they see that the shadow of the fire playing across the tall grass looks like a lion, and so he gets up and he runs. Right? What is going to be better? Getting up and running even though there wasn't a lion, or getting up and running just in case there was. That we are really, really good at seeing faces, at seeing shapes, at seeing silhouettes, and at seeing things that we already know, boats and animals in the sky, things like that in the clouds. It's something that we are, it's something that's baked into us.
Yeah, we were pattern seeking.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. And that is true.
And I'm not saying that, but essentially in the long run, at the end of this call, what I'd love for us both to agree is you don't know. I don't know. And you don't know.
I mean, and here's the thing is, even if you believe me, it doesn't make Christianity any more true or Islam true. I'm still. If the thing would have told me where it came from, I would have believed it because of the manner in which it was, there. The supernatural quality that it had gave it, a lot of credibility, I guess. But I really don't know. I mean, it could have just been an alien from another, dimension just fucking with me.
The funny thing is the idea of an alien is a lot more likely than a god, because at least we can, think of, we could say that there are planets in Goldilocks zones all over the place. But anyway, regardless, diving back into this, Arthur.
Yeah.
It's okay to pop that on the shelf and say, you know what, I don't know. And maybe someday I will know, but I don't right now. It's definitely the most honest way to do it.
Scientists roll their eyes when people say things like that. It's like, I agree with all your points. There's nothing that you guys have ever said that I have disagreed with.
Oh, I have disagreed with plenty. I have you seen the early episodes?
I've been watching this show and the other one and the Atheist Experience like crazy. That's all I do.
My skin crawls when I listen to myself on those early episodes. It was rough.
But the thing is that I've always felt that way. The only difference between me and you is that I never said that I had a relationship with Jesus. I would never make that claim. I wish that I did, because then I would ask all the good questions.
Sure.
You know, but I don't. And it's upsetting to me because it looks like they're just making it all up and they're just doing it to kind of make themselves better than other people. Like, it's like join the BS club and we're all going to all BS each other. It just doesn't.
Arthur? Yeah. So I think that kind of perpetuates this idea of the angry atheist. And I've definitely heard people say that kind of thing before. The harder pill to swallow is that you have a lot of people who do honestly believe this thing. They just might not have great reasons. And so the interesting thing to this call is you're presenting an example of something that we should evaluate, investigate, and you're using the best tools that you have to understand it, right? And I can see that because you wanted to go in to talk about somebody else's personal experience that they couldn't explain. And that means that there's a tool that's being used here, not just that one experience. There's a tool that you're using when you when you hear these anecdotal stories. What I'm saying is... Because
the thing is, I'm telling the truth. I don't have the truth. I don't know what the truth is. I'm just telling the truth about what happened.
Yeah, you're telling your experience, and I believe you. What I'm saying is, moving forward, instead of saying, there's a chance that this was, supernatural, apply what you know about the world to it. You can put things on the I don't know shelf. It's uncomfortable. It is. But it definitely prevents you from being taken advantage of by people. And I think that is far more important.
Can I ask you a question, dude?
Yeah, one more, and then we're going to move on to the next call.
Okay, what would you do if you saw something like that? Because it doesn't make any religion any easier, or it doesn't make any religious claim any easier to swallow.
Sure.
But I still have that on my conscience, and it's it keeps me up at night. I mean, because I'm thinking, well, damn, I want to figure out what it is, because just to know for sure. And if I have to convert to some religion, I guess I'm a Christian, I guess, but it's like.
But you don't have to.
Dude, I'm not worried about you guys. I'm worried about me, because I know you guys don't believe, and I don't blame you for not believing, but I have a little bit more reason to believe just because I saw that.
Why don't you just say I don't know?
Well, no, I do say that.
But you're taking more to it. You're saying I don't know, and.
Well, it's just the fact that it could even be that was upsetting.
But that takes us back to our Poe. That takes us back to our Poe from the last call. And that is that just because you need to determine whether or not something is possible before you can determine whether or not it's probable. And if you don't know how a thing happened, when you stick it on that shelf and say, hey, I don't know, and I'm going to, use the best tools I have, then that's when you're going to be able to attack it and go, okay, here's what it might be. And I don't know, man. Maybe you do find a way to test it and find out that what you saw was reflecting a reality that we don't understand. But until we're able to test that and see it, then I wouldn't hinge my beliefs, and I definitely wouldn't. It wouldn't give me pause to go, you know what? Just because I don't understand this doesn't mean that I have to accept that there are portals to other worlds. It would just be, I don't know.
I think it could be some sort of dimensional gas leak or something. Because
it's far more likely to have been an actual gas leak. But Arthur?
Yeah.
The way that you approach this, the way that you talk to us, is wonderful. It's indicative of the kind of conversations that I would love to see people have, and that is one where we can respect each other as people, but not necessarily respecting bad ideas. And I urge you to, and I know that you probably knew this before you ever called in, to evaluate that tool, because I don't think it's a good one.
So you're talking about being religious? This is probably a bad tool?
I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about taking anecdotal evidence and putting anything more to it than I don't know.
Yeah, dude, but that's easier said than done.
I know.
Yeah.
If you saw what I saw, it's upsetting.
Yeah, it's incredibly tough. I'm not saying it's an easy chore, but I'm saying that it's worth it in the long run.
Yeah. And before we end, I want to circle back to, you kind of had an assumption that we thought that you were basically lying and that it would be easier and more convenient for you to be lying.
Yeah, because it would make more sense, because I have the same disagreements on religion as you guys do. All the same, the same. I mean, I feel exactly the same way. You know, it kills me because that, I'm not saying that it has to be what I think that it was. It's just the fact that it could even be that. It's like, oh shit, you know, like.
Yeah, I think that was. It seemed like you were assuming that we thought that you and that a lot of theists are necessarily lying. And I think one of the things that you should take away from this maybe is, have you heard of Hanlon's razor?
Uh-uh.
It is never attribute to malice that which can be sufficiently explained by stupidity or ignorance or what have you. So I think next time you speak with an atheist or any other type of theist, try to go in with as few assumptions as possible. Try to meet them where they're at, and don't assume malice.
I just assume because of the calls that I've been hearing you guys get. You guys get a lot of dishonest tactics, and I don't know how you guys really think about stuff, but
because
I just know that I don't want you guys to think that I'm trying to be dishonest. It's upsetting that I saw that, and
we don't think that you are. We believe you, and we think that you are relaying your experience honestly. We don't agree with your conclusion, but we believe you.
And
you know,
just as an example,
just so they would have a better mind to you know, maybe they would get their mind spinning in new directions, you know, to try to figure it out. I think it's just they don't have any thoughts on it because they don't take those kinds of claims serious. And
definitely, but Arthur.
Yeah.
I think we're going to move on to the next call because we got a full white list. But you're in Fort Worth. Get your butt down here. Come say hi sometime.
Yeah.
I was actually going to do that in person, and I probably will do that.
Good.
I wanted to tell you in person, but I just decided to call today just for the hell of it.
No worries, man.
Yeah, I will be down there one day, and I'll have a beer with you.
Sounds like a plan. All right. Take care, brother.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I recently had a discussion with Eli Ayala, who was presenting this presup view of things, and that the presupposition is, I know that he's right. I'm just denying it. And it's built into the transcendental argument for the existence of God. And he's the sweetest guy.
Yeah.
And you can have honest people, you can have kind people using dishonest tactics. It just takes looking at that tactic and really investigating it to determine whether or not it is. So we just freed up a line, and I would love to keep that line open for Tyler to put his money where his mouth is from the live chat. Now, let's move on to Kieran in Tampa. Kieran, you're live with Eric.
How you doing?
Hi, Kieran.
Doing all right, brother. What's up?
You can hear me?
Yes. What do you want to talk about?
I've been watching y'all for a year, man. I love y'all show, man. But this is the thing. I'm a theist, right? And I was raised Jehovah's Witness all of my life, right? I have a question because I think y'all can answer it by with y'all knowledge, you know.
Sure.
And
well, we're just two dudes, so let's lower that bar just a little bit. We're not experts, we're not scientists, but we'll do our best.
I'm just a guy.
Y'all pretty good, though. Y'all pretty good, man. So this is my thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that with Jehovah's Witness, they say that nobody knows the day or the hour of when God will bring his judgment or Armageddon or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would he tell the devil what he was doing next? Because the devil said in the Bible, and I'm only using the Bible, I'm not saying it's true or false, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I have to listen to y'all right now. Why would he say? Why would the devil, when the devil said, surely if you eat from the tree of knowledge, you will surely not die, for you'll become like gods, which is true, right?
Sure.
And also, he said, unless you become like gods, you will not positively die. And they didn't die right away, right? But I guess it was an analogous or whatever they call that word, whatever. But this is the thing. He keep the devil out of heaven not keep the devil out of heaven, but he had a war in heaven before mankind, right? I believe. I'm not sure. I have to ask y'all because that's what I keep hearing when it comes to Jehovah's Witness. So he keeps the devil out of heaven before mankind. So now the big thing is, why would he tell the devil his secret? So if they didn't die from eating from the tree of knowledge. They died because God took the tree of life away from them. They didn't die from the tree of from eating from the tree of knowledge. And the devil actually told the truth on that. Am I right or wrong?
The thing is we're talking about a story, and while I'm happy to talk about the story, I kind of want to contextualize it here because I've gotten into really deep conversations about fiction and fictional universes, right? I cannot tell you the number of hours I've spent arguing with one of my co-hosts about the teleporter problem from Star Trek. So while I think that there's value in those kinds of discussions kind of in a nebulous way, why should I care? Why should I care about the example that you gave? Right. Yeah. Because no, that's okay. It's because if the God of the Bible exists and is an ass, well, that doesn't take away whether or not the God of that Bible exists. I just want to know, their existence before I start adding attributes, or whether or not, they were trying to be secretive or whatever. I kind of want to know whether or not it's something in the realm of the world we're living in, or if we're having a hypothetical conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do Jehovah's Witnesses believe in the omni-God concept?
You know what? I don't know. I've been doing this since I was like 6 years old or something like that. But I really don't know. I don't ask too many questions. But now I'm questioning things because I don't understand. I lack knowledge when it comes to that, and I'm not afraid to lack knowledge, and I'm not afraid to know what I don't know.
Well, to say you don't know what you don't know, yeah. Karen, that is friggin' awesome. Can we get more people doing that? Could I just can I implant you places to give that tool? Your end place is different, but oh my gosh, wouldn't it be a better world if everybody did that? If everybody went, you know what, I don't know a thing, and it might be scary, just like that last guy we were talking to. It's a scary thing not knowing, but it's honest. Yeah, and I often say it's the most intellectually honest thing a person can do because it is so hard.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you wanted to talk about with your beliefs, with the God that you believe in, that you wanted to interact with, or were you just kind of bringing up a hypothetical about J-dubs?
It was mostly a hypothetical.
Okey-dokey.
And I had my mind on the slavery thing because I always hear Matt on Atheist Experience talk about slavery. And I heard you talking about slavery, and that gets my attention. And it's like, okay, nobody can answer the question and say, was it moral or not? Just be honest and say it's not moral, or just say God wouldn't do that. Why take up for something that you don't know? You don't understand. You weren't there.
You weren't there. So, Kieran, actually, the interesting thing there is I do want to caution you because you're doing something that I don't want to. I don't want to be a part of your reasoning. I want you to have a better attack on this, and that is, you ever play Dungeons and Dragons?
No.
Okay, that's fine. You can have characters that have an entirely different moral compass. What they think is moral, what they think is okay, and what they're interacting with is entirely different from what we view that way, right? I was a character who was in an entirely good group, and so whenever they'd kill an enemy, they wouldn't touch the body because they felt that was desecrating or messing with the dead. But my character's moral compass was like, that doesn't matter at all, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I wouldn't lean on the immorality or the perceived immorality of a characteristic that's being attributed to that God to determine whether or not it's true, just whether or not it's moral the way we view it as moral, because it could just have its own wonky thing. But I wouldn't hang my hat on that.
Okay. Okay. That makes yeah.
I
like that. I like that, right?
But
I do have an answer though, I think. Ooh. As far as, hypothetical questions about fictional characters go, if they believe in the omni-God concept, then God can do whatever the hell he wants because he knows the future. So
That's what Matt said. I heard Matt say the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't call to like hold y'all up, you know what I'm saying? But I'm glad I got to talk to y'all, you know, because some stuff I don't understand, and I go crazy because I can't understand it, and I don't try. I try really hard to understand it, but I don't think I know everything.
Dude.
I try hard to know everything,
dude.
You know, so
here's a perspective shift. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're a skeptic, then you got to come to grips with the fact that you're never going to know everything. You're not even going to know everything about one thing. You know, if you talk to a professional in their field, they're going to understand and accept the fact that there are a lot of things that they don't know a lot sooner than people who know even less. And because of that, we live in this world where every day we're getting the opportunity to learn more about it. And it's heartening because right now we know more than our parents did. You know, we have access to more information. We're growing in so many different fields of understanding that we're at the forefront right now of learning about this universe, and hopefully we can leave it a place where they will be further than us. And that's heartening. Right. Don't let that drive you crazy. Be excited about it. It's okay. I don't know, but we're going to try anyway. We're going to move on, and we're going to do the best we can with what we have.
Okay, I appreciate that, man. I will call y'all back, man, maybe like a week or so, and with more questions, just in case I need to know something else. But I appreciate y'all, man.
I appreciate you back, man. Take care.
You're always so inspiring.
All right,
You're always so inspiring and uplifting. I love it.
You know, and I'm also a nihilist. We've got to create that meaning, and we can't depend on other people to do it for us. And I think it's incredibly important. So I misspoke earlier. Yeah. Okay. So I saw somebody in the live chat who was getting things riled up, and I said, let's save this spot for Tyler, see if Tyler will call in. And I look at the chat, and Tyler has already called in.
Oh, okay.
Right? I want to talk to Tyler in Mississippi.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey, you're live with Eric and Kevin.
Hello.
Hey.
So my argument is that God must exist because abiogenesis is proven to be false because we have failed to produce life from non-life. Life cannot come from non-life because it has to come from life, basically. So life must originate from a living God.
How do you know that?
The beginning and the end. Because supposedly, so according to the secular worldview, life
just remember, you can ask us. We're here.
Wait, ask you what?
You said according to the secular worldview, and I've had so many people call in who've told me what I think that I just wanted to hop in and be like, remember, you can ask us. We're a resource. We're here. We can tell you about our worldviews.
I'm going about, like the basic, the worldview where the Earth and the universe originated. So the universe originated 13.8 billion years ago or so with the Big Bang, and the Earth about 4.5 billion years ago, and life evolving from non-life a few billion years ago, and that non-life branching out. Is that kind of what you
So actually, there's a distinction there that I think is incredibly important. And it's something that I saw you popping into the live chat, and I just want to make sure that we're super, super clear. Abiogenesis, which is the beginning of life, is not evolution. Abiogenesis.
I'm not arguing evolution.
Okay, abiogenesis did not evolve. It's not dependent on evolution. Evolution is something in time.
Right.
Okay, because I thought I saw you say evolution is false, but you must have said abiogenesis is false.
Yeah, I see it in the description.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, I do agree with that, but I'm not going to argue that on this show because I've seen other shows where other people argue that, but that's not what I'm here to argue.
Okay, so,
that is, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. There was a time when there were not us, and now there's us. As people who are much smarter than me have explored and learned and looked at the fossil record, that the life forms now share common ancestors, right? We can look at the phylogenetic tree of life and see, and that is where we're looking at evolution, and we can kind of trace that back to the proto creatures that first inhabited this place. And those proto creatures weren't always here. And so we call the beginning, the spot from not a living thing to a living thing, abiogenesis.
Right.
But in the same way, when we talk about something like dark matter, we're talking about what we have understood, but we're not saying that we know everything about it. We're saying this is to the best of our knowledge what we've been able to come up with and show, definitively, hey, here's how we got from A to B to C. You can check my work. So I want to take that whole thing around abiogenesis, and I want to set that on the shelf for a second, because I gave you a decent rundown of something that you can check out yourself. It's not just my claim. And say, okay, there's that. Now let's look at your competing hypothesis. What do you have that shows your claim about a God creating all life? Like, how do you know that life has to come from? Because I think charitably, I don't know would have to be the answer, wouldn't it?
Well, see, I believe that through our observation and testing of the properties around us and such, for example, we know that like if we see a bear, we know that bear must have come from a mother and a father bear, so we can observe and test that. Mm-hmm. And as far as we have observed and tested, to the best of our knowledge, life can only come from it can only come from life. It cannot come from non-life.
But then you get to an infinite regress like that.
Well, yeah, but see the thing is, that's the question: is where did the first life form or forms come from?
Well, and why does it get special permission, right? Because if you're saying that life has to come from life, that means God had to have been created by a God.
Yeah, it's turtles all the way down until you special plead that God is infinite and without beginning.
Yeah, prime mover.
Yeah, exactly. That's my argument. See, God is the beginning and the end, so he does not have he was not created. I believe that is the only explanation that we can offer through observation and testing, that the living God must have created the first life forms, and he created them according to their kinds, and that's what we observe and what we can observe and test today. Sure. We can observe and test that life can bring forth life, but according to the theory of abiogenesis, life originated from non-life billions of years ago, and yet that has not happened a single time today. It supposedly happened through natural means, and yet our most intelligent scientists today cannot even make it happen.
I would definitely urge you to not use our smartest scientists today, because we can pull out scientists from 300 years ago who were the smartest at the time, but that doesn't mean that people were valid in making assertions that they couldn't back up.
Oh, I agree. Okay. I agree with that.
So let's
I perfectly agree with that.
Okay, let's take a look, because last time somebody called and talked about abiogenesis, I got messages from PhDs who were like, Eric, next time I need you to say this. And so I'm doing my best. But there are a lot of things that are indicative of how life could have started that we have been able to address and talk about, right? You have protocells out of things like lipids. You have, RNA, which can exist and replicate without DNA. Now, tell me in the comments if I was wrong about that. But you have all of these different building blocks that are there, right? That occur naturally. And so while we have that, I want to take this and I kind of want to weigh this out here, because I want to know which one, I can never know a thing 100%. And so I'm going to do the best I can with the information I have available and live this life the most honest way that I can, right? So I'm going to weigh these out. I have all of this information about how life could have started, right? And then I have the God concept. Right. Which one has more assumptions?
I believe the theory of abiogenesis has more assumptions, because it assumes that life can come from non-life, but we have observed and tested that as far as our knowledge.
But aren't you making that same assumption about God?
Well, I am making the assumption that there is a God, but I am drawing that from the observable and testable fact that life comes from only life.
No,
as far as we
you're
have
making an
observed.
assumption that there's an exemption for God.
Yeah, how come that exemption just can't be for abiogenesis?
No, because according to the theory of abiogenesis, of course, just life originated from non-life. That's the basic premise of abiogenesis. That has nothing to do with an infinite being being at play. The very definition of God, at least the God in the Bible, which I believe in, is He is infinite and omniscient, and He is the beginning and the end. So that's why He is the exception. But abiogenesis does not possess any of those features.
So hold on.
It can't be an exception.
Hold on, Tyler. You just listed a whole bunch of assumptions. The beginning and the end, the power and the ability to create life and universes.
That's a lot of baggage.
Isn't that way more assumptions, including the one that you're saying is there, right? That God was alive and came out of non-life, right? And then you have abiogenesis. How could you possibly think that abiogenesis has more assumptions? You just stacked a cart full of them.
Well, no, these aren't assumptions. These are the characteristics attributed to the God of the Bible, and that's just the God that I happen to believe in.
That's
I'm just
very convenient.
The very definition of God is he's infinite and he has no beginning or end.
Yeah, and that makes
just the God of the Bible.
But Tyler, that makes no sense.
Makes no sense?
Yeah, at least in our understanding of abiogenesis, we've been able to see. I think I was corrected in the live chat, but not entirely. That in 2016 we've been able to see ribonucleic acid occurring naturally.
Right, but
there's
still no life form. That's the only problem.
Is a virus alive?
No.
But you have the ability for it to replicate and mutate, right?
Well, yes, but it doesn't have cells, and so it can't be alive.
So
not a living organism.
But you're starting to see. I hope you're starting to see where the sweater's fraying a little bit there.
I can see what you're getting at, but there is no bridge between like viruses and other non-living molecules and life, like cells and the other components of life.
I think that conversation would probably be best had with someone who has a formal education in it. But
all right.
Even if I were to say I don't know to all of the above, if I were just to look at the number of assumptions included, I would say that the God concept gets cut off because there are so many more assumptions to that God that need to be tested. And I love that you want to test them. But until they've been falsified and tested, it is not the time to accept that as the truth. You can say it's a postulate.
You're assuming that we can rely upon our own knowledge, and especially if you are conceding that human beings are only slightly more advanced apes, that cannot be exactly true.
Well,
I'm just saying it's all as the knowledge that we are given, that we can see and observe and test.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah. So what?
Yeah.
As far as the knowledge and what we can observe and see and test, we can observe and see and test that life only comes from life. And as far as we know, life cannot come from non-life. RNA and other non-living molecules can, but not living organisms.
But I just gave you a whole bunch of things that kind of point toward that. And also, looking back at that, I'm sorry, but I'm feeling like there's a disconnect. And maybe I need to go back and watch this episode, but it feels to me like what you're doing is restating the same thing over and over again and not like to give, a hypothesis that is falsifiable, that we can test. You say, hey, here's my idea, here's what I think it might be. Here's how I can show that it's wrong, and you test it and you go about it that way. I don't see you doing that. I see you spitballing what we know about abiogenesis, and cool, that's fine. But I just don't see how that backs up your claim. And when looked at, the only thing you're saying is, but spitballing abiogenesis. Who cares?
It's an ongoing field of study. And there is only so much that we can investigate to the best of our abilities at the moment. Maybe we can never fully investigate it. But that means that
I agree.
We can never know for sure. So we don't know and you don't know, so you know.
No, well, my claim is that I know that, I agree with you that we cannot know everything about the universe and such. We are limited. But my claim is that we can know through observation and testing that life just produces life. But see, because abiogenesis is not observable and testable. We have not observed and tested it. So that relies on the assumption that it actually happened.
I mean, I again, I'm just going to point back towards trying to make falsifiable tests, falsifiable hypotheses, and then taking that and moving forward. I think we're starting to go in circles, and I hope that you can see that we're starting to go in circles. But I'm going to continue to look at it, and I hope that you continue to look at it too. Because I've actually talked to plenty of Christians who thought, after they've accepted, okay, well, this is how we came about, then they thought, okay, well, then that's just how God planned it, and just started the first domino, and then everything went from there, knowing what it was going to turn out to be. That I don't think it's as hard.
They thought that God created abiogenesis, like God created life through abiogenesis.
Yeah, I've definitely talked to Christians who've asserted that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make this something that you can view without it being the antithesis of everything that you believe about the world. I want you to be able to, separate that stuff out and look at this individually as a claim, because that's when you're going to get the best results.
All right.
Yeah. So, Tyler?
Yes.
You said a lot in the comments. You made a lot of assertions. And you put your money where your mouth is, and you called in. Cheers to you. Respect that.
Well, thank you.
So,
and I respect you too. You've been a pretty good host. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Aw, yeah. Thank you.
I'm less polite than Eric is, but yeah.
Oh, no, Kevin's the biggest softie on the planet. All right, Tyler, take care, man.
Take care.
Yeah, that was one of those things that I really wanted to brush up on a little bit, but I couldn't get around to it.
No worries. The thing is I'm not a professional in that field. No. I'm also not a cosmologist. I'm also not, any number of those people who would be able to answer that to a much more satisfying degree. But when people are pointing at science and saying, I don't think this science is correct, therefore my assertion is true, it puts us in the position of being science communicators a little bit. And I think being forward like we were at the beginning and saying, hey, we're not professionals.
Yeah.
And then only putting out what we do know and not pulling facts out of our butt.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to walk that line when you're not an expert and there a lot is being thrown at you, and you don't want to overstate and put your foot in your mouth,
Like I did with the moon a couple episodes ago.
I remember that one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm never going to forget that. It haunts me. So who do you want to talk to?
I don't know. I think that the abiogenesis thing it doesn't really, I don't think it really has much of an effect. Like, we don't necessarily know. Like, maybe the genesis of the universe was God. Maybe it was letting go of its consciousness to create this world. It doesn't. Let's just pretend that there was a God. So what? How do you know it's your God?
Yeah.
After that, there's a huge leap to go from maybe there was a creator. How do we know it's an intelligent creator?
Yeah, and
it could just be a non-intelligent creator. That there are way too many assumptions that go along with making that assertion, and when you could just be honest and say, we don't know yet.
Yeah, and
maybe we never will.
And that is a really good point. How do you know it's intelligent? Okay, even if you were to prove somehow that it was intelligent or we granted it, how is it yours? You're right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was doing this, but I've definitely seen a lot of people use that as a building block toward Christianity that it just doesn't belong, you know?
Yeah, even if we grant you that, then where do you go? How do you get to that next platform?
Yeah. And this isn't us talking trash. We're just sharing, especially because that is a lot of what I thought about as I was on my way out. And it's definitely something that gave me pause. And I tried to fill that gap with as much God as I could.
Yeah.
And I just did not want to let go of it. And I wanted to be sure, and I wanted to know. And, well, I can't.
Yeah. I think like there's Skyrim lore. One of the gods destroys itself in order to create the universe.
Really?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
You know, I've got one more thing to add before we move on to the next call, and it's this. When I was a kid, I used to think that the library was the source of all information in the world. That you could go to the library, and if you found the right book, we already know it. You just need to find the book that has it. And I had this confidence that there was this, you know, abundance of information, and that I just wouldn't be able to read all of the books. But if I went to the library, at the library, it would be there. And there's actually a Bible verse that I think very, very clearly sums up, you know, those kinds of thoughts, the thought that everything that can be known, that thought that you can make assertions like that. And that's 1 Corinthians 13:11. When I was a child, I played as a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child. And when I became a man, I put away childish things.
It's a weird thing to be in the Bible.
Right? Hey, yeah. Anyway, Hayden in Delaware. You're live with Eric and Kevin. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Hayden says you're a former atheist?
Yeah, I am actually. I used to be an atheist up until about 2014, 2015 or something like that.
Oh, what convinced you?
I guess I was just going through like a really hard time at that point. And I had friends that introduced me to like different spiritual lifestyles and different religions. And I feel like that really helped me out of that time. And it got me to open out of that close-minded sort of mindset that I had as a defense mechanism for so long.
You know what? I've got to say, definitely closed-mindedness is something that we don't want. If you've seen the show, you probably know that we're not proponents of closed-mindedness. Why were you so closed-minded, and how did you get out of it? Like, what got you there?
So, like, I grew up Protestant. My parents were Methodist. And so I started out being, like, you know, generally forced to believe in, like, the regular, like, Christian canon and everything like that. And I didn't know anything else until, like, middle school, I think. And that's when I opened up to the rest of the world. And when I realized that there was something else other than what I'd already known, and what I'd already known had given me such a bad experience, I was just like, oh, wow, there's so much out there. I can be free. I can do whatever I want. This is amazing. I want to just get rid of all this crappy religion stuff that I've been experiencing up to now.
What do you mean you can do whatever you want?
Yeah,
like, I feel like,
foggy.
like religion sort of like Christianity, in fact, sort of held me down, and it didn't really allow me to, like, live my life with all the restrictions that they have, sort of.
What?
Like, you know, just like, well, my parents were very, like, I don't want to say fundamentalist. They were just like go to church every Sunday. They're very, like, no gay people, no this, that, no, like all the traditional stuff you see.
Yeah, so we can pop that on the list. That the religion that you came from, aboard Christianity, homosexuality. The Christianity you came from aboard homosexuality. So being gay was not okay at your church. You're still a Christian, I'm assuming. Do you still think that?
Well, I'm in a weird sort of limbo state where I'm not like a Christian specifically, but I know I'm like religious and spiritual. I'm trying to like find a set like religion or spiritual belief that will fit me more than the Christian beliefs that I grew up with. But I still have like some sort of beliefs that in the Christian church that still fit me, I believe. So
I understand that, and I'm not trying to. I'm asking you specifically about this, right? You made the claim, "Hey, I don't believe this Christianity stuff anymore. Now I can do whatever I want." And so far, the example you gave was homosexuality, which you and I sound like both agree is just fine. So
yeah.
I think that's if we got like the scoreboard, we got ding 1 for the non-Christians, and 0 for the Christians. What else do we got? What else, were you free to do?
I was free to like talk to people like of different cultures, like outside my religion. I was free to talk to like.
Okay, so is that a bad thing?
Say it again?
Is that a bad thing, speaking to people from different
no,
cultures? Ding, there's another one for secular. Yeah. No, I think we're doing good. What else? I mean, if we go down the list, I think you're going to find that the only things we have in common with the commandments put out by Christianity are the ones that we've already made against the law. That being said, I also abhor murder. And I also think that theft is bad unless, like the Jean Valjean example, something like that. But
Sure, it's complicated.
Yeah, regardless, though, I don't know. I guess it just seemed nonsensical, the whole I can do whatever I want. But please continue. You were making a point that you had left religion, and you had left religion because you'd wanted to do whatever you wanted to do, and then you became closed-minded about it? Help me out here. I don't understand.
Yeah, like I was saying, like with the whole I can do whatever I want thing, I believed that Christianity and religion were the source of like all my problems in life. And so I sort of shunned anything that had to do with it. And I became like, one of those vehement atheists that like debates anyone like anytime and just brings it up randomly in conversation.
What do you think
and
we would
sort of like,
what do you think we would say to people like that?
I'm not sure. I wanted to get your like sort of perspective on that.
Yeah, I've talked to people who have said, all the damage and evil in the world is caused by religion. Bullshit.
Exactly.
Bullshit. Now, I will say that religion can be a place to couch bigotry, and that's really scary and justify some bad stuff. But religion being the source of all the problems in the world is not remotely what's true. So, if you're going to argue that was the atheist position, I'm going to tell you that no, that definitely isn't our position.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like a lot of atheists these days are like that, and they are very intolerant to religion in general, and that's
what's your exposure to other atheists? Is it Reddit,
Tumblr?
Or, yeah.
Well, I mean, Reddit in general, and also like on Facebook through mutual friends and stuff like that.
If you were to work your way down to Austin and come in here and have a seat and sit down and talk to us, I think you'd find an incredibly caring community that probably wouldn't behave that way. Keyboard warriors tend to get really, really vitriolic when they know that they can hide behind a screen.
Yeah, definitely.
So that said, I want to tie back around because we've gone off topic a bit. What convinced you of Christianity? What convinced you of your religious belief? Because if it convinced you, maybe it should convince us. What was it that convinced you?
Well, I'm not going to fool myself into thinking that I can convince any of you guys. Like,
why not?
But I will say that if for me, like I said, I was going through a hard time with depression and suicidal thoughts, and I was looking for answers. And I started putting the pieces together of like my philosophical beliefs, and it turns out that my philosophical beliefs align with those of like several religions, and so I started exploring more and more, and so I started thinking to myself, wow, this could actually be something here.
Wait, so because it made you feel good? Because it was convenient, that's why it's true? Because I can tell you right now, I suffer from clinical depression. If you want to talk about, having those kinds of thoughts, that is something that I'm probably going to have for the rest of my life that I have to deal with on a daily basis. That doesn't mean that I'm justified in picking something that might make me feel better and assume that it's true because it makes me feel better, right? Bad things happen, right? We can point at genocide, and say, hey, there are child soldiers being used to do terrible things in Africa right now. Just because that makes me uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not true. It just means it makes me uncomfortable. So if that's the entire reason that you got moved over into this spirituality, I don't think that's a good reason, do you?
No, I wouldn't say that, I found these beliefs. I'm saying that the beliefs I've already had were, corroborated by religion.
Like what?
And so it gave me, a sense of, purpose. And say it again?
Like what? I think we give ourselves purpose, and that's wonderful. Something giving you purpose, I think, also does not point toward truth. But like what? What was it? You keep saying there were things that convinced you that lined up with your understanding of the world. Like what? And I'm not trying to be a dick. If you see my face on the screen,
no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
So, like what? What was it?
Just the sense of I want to say harmony and unity in the universe and in humanity, and the sort of sense that there is a higher purpose, that life itself means more than just tiny carbon specks on a rock. I feel there's for the first time I had this sense that I really felt like there was something more out there than just what we see on the surface right here that we can't detect with our five senses.
So I'm just going to point back to the same answer that I gave. Because something makes you uncomfortable doesn't mean that it's not true.
I wouldn't say that it was because it made me feel uncomfortable.
Okay, so this greater purpose, sense of unity, that we're not just carbon specks on a rock hurtling through space. What do you get out of that other than it makes me feel good?
Just a sense of meaning and purpose. Sort
makes you
of.
feel
I wouldn't say it made me comfortable, because if I wanted to just be comfortable, then I'd make a cult and make myself the head of it. I won't want to make myself a god. I know I'm below something, and that can make some people uncomfortable. There are some aspects of religion that might make someone uncomfortable.
Which is why uncomfortability is not an indicator of truth. It's just not.
Yeah.
So why are you using it to point toward truth?
I'm not using it to point toward the truth.
Okay, so then can you give me an example other than it gave me purpose? Because untrue things can give you purpose. What did you learn that convinced you about the spiritual or the spirituality?
What specific event that learning about what specific event that happens in the universe that what did I learn that finally convinced me?
Well, I want to know what convinced you. If it's a bad reason, okay, I'm just going to say it's a bad reason.
Yeah, you've said that it's multiple things. Maybe give us what you think is the best one.
I guess it's the sort of perfection and specificity of the universe, that everything is connected and together, and I really feel the universe is put together in such a way that it can't just happen. You know what I mean?
Does a hole perfectly fit a body of water?
Does what?
Does a hole perfectly fit a body of water?
No, I don't think so. Wait, I don't.
So a puddle.
Yeah, thank you. Have you heard of the puddle analogy?
No, I haven't.
Sir
No.
Douglas Adams.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you could probably describe it better than me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing so great today.
No worries.
Yeah.
So if you ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe.
Here we go.
Oh, please do. Please read it, because I have I have a Hitchhiker's Guide tattoo. It's so good. No.
It's like the Atheist Bible.
Not quite. It's just real snarky. But what he did is he would anthropomorphize things at certain times to make a point. And in this part in particular, he has this puddle that becomes sentient, becomes alive, and it looks and it goes, I have to believe that there was a creator because this hole that I'm in, it perfectly fits every nook and cranny of me. It was specifically made for me. And then the sun comes up higher in the sky, and it starts to evaporate. And as it evaporates, it's still filling the hole. It's just lower, but it says, I can't believe how incredible it is that I specifically fit this hole all the way until it evaporates. The idea that we're here only shows that we've adapted to be here, but it doesn't work the other way around.
I mean, there's still some things that you just can't find an explanation for, like consciousness and certain aspects of physics are just like so uniquely organized that you just don't know.
Well, you don't know, therefore I'm right is not a good argument either.
You say that there's order and whatnot to the universe, and do you think that it was created for us? Because we can only live in, 1/1,000,000th, probably less of the known universe. So if it was created for anything, it sure as hell wasn't created for us.
We definitely would have a whole lot less ocean, a whole lot more arable land to farm.
We can exist almost nowhere in the known universe except for right here.
That's pretty cool, though, isn't it?
I mean, I agree. I just also think that that doesn't point toward a creator.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that we're here.
Mm-hmm. Cheers to that. But Hayden,
But like,
go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh yeah, you were. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just.
What's up?
I was just thinking about like. I'm just saying like I know what you're saying, like how it just like coincidentally happened, but there's more to it. Like when you break it down, the more you think about it, the more you think, and the more you believe that there can be no other explanation.
But how could you get there? There could be no other explanation is a bad reason for anything. It's the reason why a whole lot of innocent people get tried and sentenced to, life in prison, because there could be no other explanation up until you find out, oh my gosh, there was another explanation. The thing that you're accepting as true needs to stand on or fall on its own merits, not because you don't understand the competing hypotheses, but simply because it on its own stands.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, I wouldn't say I have like one unanimous belief that I like instantly believe in. Like there are some different hypotheses for like the meaning of the universe that I subscribe to. Like there are a few different ones that I'm like considering that like I'm not fully committed to any one. So I wouldn't say that I'm like completely right about any one thing,
Cheers. Just keep that mindset as you're moving forward. Don't go for something because it's comfortable. Go for it because you have a good reason to believe that it's true.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that.
Awesome. We've had some good callers. Hayden, thank you for calling in, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Who do you want to go with? Who do you want to go with next?
I have the warm fuzzies right now.
Yeah.
I do. We've had some good callers.
Yeah, we have. I mean, except for the first guy.
You know what? But even the first guy, let us talk about what a poet is and point towards it's all right. There was use there.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I think it's time to thank those patrons.
Oh yeah.
So, if you like what you do, if you like what we're doing, you want to be able to support us, you can support us. You can go to patreon.com/talkheathen-to-me. That's patreon.com/talkheathen-to-me. Even as little as $1 an episode really, really goes a long way. It all goes to the nonprofits. It definitely does not line our pockets. We get zero money for it. This is a labor of love, and we do put it to good work. So if you do want to become a patron, you go to patreon.com/talkheathen-to-me. There are other things you can do to support us. It's not just money. We're not just shilling. By the way, you can buy merchandise. But it's not... There's merchandise. But it's not just shilling. There are over 2,000 people watching right now.
Oh, damn.
And 1/10 of that, only 200 upvotes. Smash that like button. Hit the bell to subscribe to be notified when we're going to go on. And share it with your friends. The more that you can do those things, it's not just money. Help us get out there. We've got a lot to say, and it's only going to get to people if you help us. Leave a good review on iTunes, Google Play. All of that stuff helps. And merchandise. Okay. Oh, right. Top 5 patrons. I want to thank our top 5 patrons. Our top 5 are Charlotte Crum, Bob, Bethany, Stephen, and Brian. 3, 4, 5. Yep. And I just want to let people know where we're at, because 3 of those top 5 are at the $10 level.
Nice.
We are sustained by small donations. Don't think you've got to be a $500 an episode patron to have your name read out. 3 out of the 5 are at the $10 level. If you want to support us, you can, and you can. Please consider doing so. All right. What do we got?
Let's see. Actually, before we move on, something popped into my head. I wanted to say it before we let the last guy go.
I'm sorry.
I already forgot his name. My drink is almost empty.
Mm-hmm.
I'd really like to think that it wasn't.
Yeah.
I really want that to be true. But as far as I can tell, it isn't. I mean, can you help me investigate? Is it?
Yep, that is a criminally low Red Bull.
Damn it. Okay. I was afraid of that.
Sorry, man.
I really want that to be not the truth, but
yeah,
I guess it isn't.
I want to have $1 million in my bank account. You know, it just because we want a thing doesn't mean it's true, and doesn't mean it's more likely to be true.
Yeah, that was basically what I was picking up was, just because we want something to be true, that doesn't make it true, and now we're going in circles. You already said that.
That's okay. Yeah. I stole your thunder.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You kind of did, but that's
I kind of did.
I forgive you.
I apologize. I love you, Kevin.
Yeah, love you too.
Let's talk to Ethan in Chicago. Ethan, you're live with Eric and Kevin. How you doing?
Dude, I am doing good. Eric Murphy, it is a total honor to talk to you, man. Seriously. How are you?
I am energized by you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. Sorry. I've been waiting to call for a while.
You have the entire time. Yeah.
No, I mean, I've been waiting for like 2 months to call, and I finally did it.
Oh.
So, check this out, Eric. I have my first live stream debate on Tuesday, and I've talked to this guy a few times, and one of the things he keeps bringing up to me, which is driving me nuts, but I honestly don't know how to address it, is he doesn't think moral obligations can exist in the atheistic worldview if we're agreeing on well-being as an end goal. How would you address that? Because he keeps insisting that we're just a bunch of meat bags, and that's not at all how I view us.
Well, I mean, we kind of are.
If there is a goal, regardless of what the goal is, then there can be an agreed upon best way of reaching it.
So let's say you were to stand in front of a house that's on fire. There are only so many things you can do. You can run in and help save people. You can run away. But at no point are you going to grow wings and flap away. Like there are only so many things that you can do at any one time. And so, yeah, you're right. By you can narrow that down depending on what the goal is. But I also have to say I agree with your opponent. The atheist view has to do with a position on one thing, and that is about whether or not that God exists. Everything else, we're talking about secular humanism, we're talking about skepticism, things like that, but definitely definitely not atheism as a catch-all. We don't have that.
Okay. And then quick follow-up. How do you deal with that dishonest claim when someone says, even though you don't believe, I know you believe? Like, how would you address that? Because to me, that's just, I don't know, diverting attention. or kind of derailing the actual argument?
So there are a number of ways. I think one of them was I handled on Monday, actually, on a Christian channel, very poorly. It was this very aggressive approach that definitely made a lot of claims that were very, very pointed to get me kind of, it wasn't good. The place to go from there, the place to go from there is, you know what, I don't know. Being comfortable in your skin. People are going to understand if you're saying, hey, you know what, I don't have all the information here. Let's look at it together. Hey, here's what I do know, and going from there. But when you fly off and you go, that's when you lose. That's when you lose them. And I don't think I did that, but I think that I got dragged into the mud, and that it doesn't look good on anybody, And other times, though, I've had a conversation with someone who was doing the tag. That's what it's called, the transcendental argument for the existence of God, right? You know it. You just choose to deny it. I think the best thing to do is to highlight it, to say, hey, why are you coming in with this assumption? And is it possible that you're wrong? And if it's impossible that you're wrong, why did you agree to this? Is this just a time to stand up and assert? Because that feels like there's only one of us in this discussion who's open to listening, and the other's just waiting their turn to talk. And doing that gets across. People see it.
That's true. I got to be honest. One day, like when I listened to you or Matt Dillahunty, and sorry, hi Kevin as well. I apologize. I didn't mean to just directly address Eric.
It's all right.
But you guys make me feel incredibly dumb, like listening to you guys. The way you can break everything down, it's awesome. And I also want to say, Matt Dillahunty, if you're listening, thank you for giving me the tools to start using my brain. Hopefully I can keep moving forward with that. He's
here. I think he heard you.
Good.
It takes all types. What's interesting is when I would listen to ACA shows before I came out here, I would listen to the Atheist Experience, but I felt so disconnected because I didn't feel like I related, like I was watching people who were just so much smarter than me. No, they just had more practice. That's all. They just had more practice. But one of the places that I went that I did feel like I was sitting with my friends and enjoying myself was actually on the show that Kevin's now on.
Yeah?
Yeah, really? The Nonprofits.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you just have a couple buddies who are sitting down talking about events.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like you're hanging out in the living room or the garage or something, chit-chatting about the news and whatnot.
It's definitely a lot of fun, and I'm sorry, I wanted to plug. If you haven't checked out the Nonprofits, check out the Nonprofits.
We do news, politics, philosophy. We are revamping the show. We're going to be making some changes, trying some new segments out. If you don't like it now, maybe you will after we've, changed up a little bit.
Cheers to that, man.
Before I let you... Oh, I apologize.
No, go ahead. What's up?
Before I let you go, would it be a bother to say the name of the show I'm hosting? I don't obviously do that without your permission.
Dude, you asked incredibly nicely. Go for it, man. What is your show?
Sweet. Well, it just started. I'm working on the live stream. It's going to be hosted this Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Central. You can find me on Facebook at Your Friendly Neighborhood Atheist. And the guy I'll be debating goes by the name Larry the Christian. So this Tuesday, 6:30 p.m.
Ethan, I wish you the best of luck, man.
Thank you so much for your guys' time. I really, really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And keep up the good work.
We'll try.
Yeah.
Take care, dude.
Have a good one.
You too. I gotta say, I feel the same way as Ethan. I feel kind of dumb around a lot of you guys whenever I come around here. But you make me want to be better, and you make me better.
Well, you're gonna make me cry. Honestly,
I feel less dumb just being around the library after 2 years or so. But it was incredibly intimidating.
Yeah.
When I first got here.
Well, I want to tell you, I can't speak for everybody, but but you've definitely inspired me in a whole lot of ways to be a better person, because you've shown me a better person. And
That means a lot.
In my clinical depression, in my own life, you've been there for me more times than I can count. So you've got a lot, brother. Love you, man. Okay.
So, who do you want to go with next?
How about over to Vietnam? Tam.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yes.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey, what do you want to talk about today?
Okay. So I think I have the definite source of morality. So
You have the definite source of morality.
Would that differ from the absolute source?
I would say it's similar. Yes,
Okay.
I think it's similar.
Okay, what is it?
Okay, I just go straight to it. My identification is when they ask for my identification, I say I'm a religious atheist. Is that a bother to you at all? No.
I don't. You can call yourself whatever you want.
I'm confused but not bothered.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so actually, I just want to highlight the fact that usually when you use the definition of atheist, you need to tie it to a deity, a supernatural being, but I don't think that is.
How is that? If somebody wants to claim that their theism doesn't involve supernatural things, then who am I to say it's not? I can worship, Kevin's empty can of Red Bull. It's there.
Sure. Okay. So first, I think we need to establish something like what is the definition of morality. So I would say loosely, morality is a set of social rules that we agree to enforce or adhere to. Is that okay?
Definition of morality being the set of rules that we agree to enforce.
Yes.
Okay.
Something like that.
We can go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually quite close to the Stanford.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm on pins and needles, especially because we're getting toward the later part of the episode. So what is it? What do you feel is objectively the definite, absolute source of morality?
Okay. So let's imagine an equation. So the population of a species is the future population of a species is equal to the current population of the species plus the member born minus the member die. Is that okay? Is that?
I mean, no, maybe. So you're saying that a population is what we have right now, plus and minus those who are dying, who die and are born.
Plus those that is born, minus those who die.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm confused, but please go on.
Okay, so in order for a population not extinct for a species, it must need two set of conditions. That is one, the necessary condition, and that the other one is sufficient condition.
Okay.
So the necessary condition is the behavior of the species must encourage the reproduction.
Okay, so encourage reproduction, and what else?
The necessity condition is each species must encourage species survival.
Okay.
And the sufficient condition is the number of member born must at least equal to the member die.
Okay. Can I give you a hypothetical?
Yes.
So could there be in any way a possibility where you can imagine a scenario that blowing up the planet was the most moral thing to do? I don't know, maybe they're making room for an intergalactic superhighway.
So the moral thing, so who is considering this action? The species or another species?
See, but there's the problem, Tam. Is when that shifts, depending, then it's not absolute.
Well, this absolute must adhere to the single species because another species will have their own, goal. So my absolute morality is only applied to that species alone. So whatever is moral for human probably is not something moral for horse and dog something. So we cannot So so we established three things, right? What is morality? The necessary condition is the behavior a species must encourage reproduction, right? You must have new member. Its behavior must encourage species survival. So you don't want to die off. And the sufficient condition is the behavior must enforce the number of member born at least equal to the member die. Okay.
So, Tam, I like what you're putting forward. I just don't think it's absolute.
Okay. So
and because of it, because even if you say it's your absolute, it's your subjective absolute. It's just so. It's just such a bummer that I got to say I'm gonna say that sounds wonderful. I just can't classify it as something that is definitionally true.
Okay. What I'm going to say, I'll give some example that because the condition will actually reflect on of the morality that human could possibly have.
I think, Tam, that this would be a good place to kind of kick it around with other people who can interact with you as well. We're going to be moving to the Discord, the ACA Discord after this. We have one more caller, and then we're going to be moving to the ACA Discord where we're going to be doing a live Q&A, and there are tons of people who can talk to you about it. I think that you're going to get a whole lot more out of that because they'll be able to interact with you in a format that we're pressed for time, but you should be able to flesh this out, and that'd be a good place to do is on the Discord. We got the link tiny.cc/ACA Discord. Would you do that? Would you go and check it out and say hi to some people?
Okay, but sure, but I just want so you. I need to know the reaction. So you are not convinced this is the absolute source of our morality, or you are confused. What is the problem?
Sure.
So you cannot understand it, or it's probably true that
I understand it. I just I got tripped up before the question even started. And can there be an absolute source of morality? Well, that morality is that which we agree to, and if that's the case, then it is subjective. We can talk about what is better and worse, and I actually really love your example. I just wouldn't call it the absolute source of morality. I'd say that things like survival of a species get you to a species that's still alive that can make those kinds of decisions, sure.
Yeah,
but
I think it just needs to be workshopped a little bit.
Yeah, but that's just descriptive though, and I don't know. I just don't follow from there. But we do have to get to the next caller. It was good talking to you though.
I was actually going to explain more because I know it's somehow you see that okay. So for example,
well, Tam,
do you think
Tam,
giving birth is a human right, basic human right?
Sure.
Do you think giving birth is a basic human right?
Tam, maybe you can call back if you want to do it in this format, but I've got to let you go.
Okay.
Yeah, we're over time already.
Yeah, but it is good talking to you, and hop in there because I'm not trying to push you off. It's just we're hurting for time, and the format of this doesn't really lend itself well, at least right now, to it. But give it a shout. Hop in and talk to people because I want to see that workshopped. I definitely want to see that fleshed out. Okay. Oh, he's gone.
Oh,
cool.
Okay.
All right. Last one, Daniel. And then we are going to be moving to, wait, we got some stuff after this. Daniel, sorry about that. You're live with Eric and Kevin.
I'm here.
Hey, you have been on the line forever and a day, and we don't have a whole lot of time to talk to you, so I feel like an ass.
Okay, I may pick up a book of fiction during this conversation. I'll give you the choice. Either I'm going to pick up the Bible or the Book of Eric. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a suggestion. The Book of Eric is a better read.
Oh, well, yeah, you can read it in no time. I think it has all of 0 words in it.
Yeah, it's short.
Although it pisses me off because I'm human, I have this tendency to like to hear and they lived happily ever after. And you don't find that in the Book of Eric because it's more honest than our human brain.
Well, I don't know if it's more honest, but it definitely doesn't make claims about eyeball monsters at the end. Daniel, is there anything specifically that you wanted to talk about?
I was listening to a physicist, and he was saying that, human beings are, pre-programmed to like that idea of happily ever after.
Yeah.
They like that comfort. And I was curious about that, but not that curious.
Well,
I was actually listening to these guys because they were talking about something
Daniel?
called a God particle.
Yeah, Higgs boson. Daniel, we are limited on time, and the format of this show is one where there's a back and forth. Do you have something we can interact with you on here?
Do you know anything about the God particle?
I know that it was something that was tested for in the Large Hadron Collider, and that it's something that we have seen evidence pointing towards. What it is and the specifics of it are things for people who are much smarter than me. But Google is awesome.
Yeah, these guys I was listening to, they said it's a Higgs boson.
Yep.
Higgs boson.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
right.
They don't really like the nickname God particle.
Sure, because you're talking about something that gives matter mass, I think.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it either, but...
That said, Daniel, I think we're going to move on, but thank you for calling in.
2012.
Take care. Okay, so we do finally have enough time. We've been dropping at the end without enough time to hop into the Discord, and I still really want to talk to people.
Yeah,
but
me too.
Especially because in 15 minutes at 3 p.m. Central, the Atheist Vanguard is going to be coming out with a new episode. Okay. So before we head over to the Discord, I wanted to say we're going to be coming out with that new intro soon. I actually saw an entirely different mock-up this week, and so now I kind of want to do that. So it's pushing things back a lot. But if you do want to be able to get Talk Heathen stuff, you can go below this video, or you can go to another URL that we're going to pop up that's not the Discord one. But yeah, go to the Discord too if you want to see us. I want to say, Kevin, dude,
it
is an honor.
It's been amazing being here. And I know I've tripped over my words quite a bit. I was really, really anxious and worked up about doing the show, but, it wasn't a train wreck.
No, well, how does it feel after the fact? Is it kind of...
There's a wash of relief just flowing.
It's funny. I actually remember getting ready to go do a live show at the American Atheist Convention 2 years ago, and we were an hour out, and I was going to have No Illusions hop up on the stage with us. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm getting ready, and No Illusions kind of goes up, and he's like, Eric, what are we doing? You haven't told me.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, what do you mean you don't know? They script everything.
Yeah.
And definitely the format of interacting with people who are bringing that to you is tense, to say the least. You could definitely mess up at any point, but I think you were great, and I'd love to have you on again to give more, get more comfy, and all that stuff.
I will be a little bit more mellow next time, and maybe not trip over my words so much.
I think you did fine, man.
Yeah.
I think you did great. I want to say thank you to the people on the other side of this wall who make this happen. That is our crew. Y'all kick ass. Thank you. Put my vape down. And
I almost reflexively cheered again.
Well, I do want to thank the people on the other side of this glass who are here. Can't wait to see you and meet you if we haven't met. I do see a lot of new faces. You want to help me throw up some love rings?
Yeah.
Ready? Right? Tell me that's not cool.
That is good.
So, for those of you who don't believe, this is your community. We're not smarter. We had a lot more practice, and we've got a lot more to go. Looking at my debate earlier in the week on that Christian channel, I'm cringing and going, you know what? I have a lot more to go, and we're all on our way through it. But you do belong here. You are not alone. And you should have every reason to demand good evidence for those things that you believe in, especially when they hold the kind of weight that people who, espouse religious viewpoints do. The idea of eternal damnation is a fucking terrible one. But that's what you should be doing. That's what you should be moving forward with. And, well, we're happy to help, and I'm proud to get to.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked out the nonprofits, check out the nonprofits. Kevin's pretty awesome, and so are the others.
Thank you. If you're missing Jamie, he's on there with me.
Ooh, he is.
Yeah.
That's right, he is. If you're missing Jamie, for everybody in the comments and everybody in the live chat who's been saying, where's Jamie? If you're missing Jamie, check out the non-profits, profits. Do you remember how to close out the show?
I vaguely remember, yeah.
Let's see. So for those of you who do believe, we don't hate you. We just think you're wrong. See you next week. Dude, you did great. It takes time, doesn't it?
What are we doing, man? What are we doing?
No, you're done.